Harris was released today. Evidence for the original case was severely mishandled.
You are a free man, Mr. Harris.
He confessed to doing it, and they let him go.
I gotta convince everyone that I'm innocent.
We just did it in court.
Just because you let a man out of prison don't mean he's free.
You served all that time because of my parents. I swore I'd help get you out. I've done it. Now I'm asking you, will you help me?
We need to go back where it all began.
I haven't been back since the day I found her. Never told you this, but I think it may have been my father. I think that Dad might have...
You stop right there. This nonsense would destroy this family.
I ain't never killed no one. I aim to find a real killer, clear my name, and prove who I am to the folks in this town.
Those people want you dead.
Body found has been confirmed to be Isabella Chen.
Isabella Chen's autopsy results have just been released. It is an exact replica of Katrina Walters 27 years ago.
They're gonna come after you even harder now.
Where were you 2 nights ago?
I don't think you did it.
We all got our secrets now, don't we?
We need to discover the truth. I haven't been totally honest with you or the police. Something I need to show you.
Vengeance is mine. Burn in hell.
There hasn't been a child murdered in Huntsville since the first time he was convicted.
27 years behind bars, I can tell the evil from the righteous.
You better be right about this.
Where did he take him?
Go ahead, as long as you're okay with not knowing the truth.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for Culprit, arriving on all digital platforms on February 28th. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. Joining me to talk all things Culprit are a pair of the producers as well as a star. We have producer, director, co-writer Rich Ronat, as well as producer and star. She plays Lucy Walters in the film. I have Laura Vale. How are you both today?
Good. Very good. Great to be here with you.
Yeah, great, man. Great.
Thank you so much for your time. I had the pleasure of seeing this film in advance. Thank you. And I also been doing some homework. I like to do my homework for this. I know you both have, been in the business in film as writers as well as actors with yourself, Laura. And it's hard out here in these streets, as people who love this craft and this art. That's what brings me to you. When the pandemic started, I'm a filmmaker that lives in the DC area.
Cool.
Things started getting slow. So I was like, you know what? Let me promote my fellow filmmakers by doing this right now, since work is slow. And, it's just, it's a dream. It's something we strive for. And I love that both of you you've been in the game a long time. You're now creating your own opportunities. So shout out to you with Good Rebel Pictures. And in this effort, I just got to give that salute because I think we're akin with all of that.
Yeah,
Sounds
for sure,
it.
man.
Yeah,
Sounds like it. That's cool. You're a filmmaker. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's talk Culprit. I saw that this was based on some stories that you read from the Innocence Project, and you've been a writer in this game for a minute, Rich. Tell me how this apple of an idea hit you at the top of your head and you started putting fingers to keyboard or pen to pad.
Yeah. Well, I was always fascinated a few years ago. The Innocence Project is a really interesting organization, and I don't know if you know about them, but they go around and So there was a story. I don't really remember the gentleman's name, but he was in prison for 27 years, and he got out, and there was still a lot of speculation about whether he was actually innocent or not. And I just thought that was a great setup, for it's one thing to come out and everyone knows you're innocent. And then it really becomes like a redemption story or like a rehab story almost, But I really liked the idea of just this uncomfortable reality of not knowing, of a person that you're they seem pretty cool. And I think you've probably met guys, and I've met guys that been in and out of prison, and you're they're telling you one thing, but you're not really sure about if it's true or not. And you're just kind of if the circumstances were different, he might just try to kill me. I don't really know, So that really kind of fascinated me. And then I also really wanted to direct one of my scripts. It was my first time directing one of my scripts that I'd had films made, and I just really wanted the material to be kind of realized in a way that I saw, as a more complete vision with the subtext more kind of, explored, and the performance is really good and with a good story hook, so.
I love that. Yeah, I live in the DC area, excuse me. So I'm very familiar with the Innocence Project and a lot of things that are happening in the world, especially right now, which is why I'm loving this conversation, because it's helping me escape from what's going on right now here in DC. So anyway,
we all need an escape.
So I know that you both are an item, and as you pen the script, you were, I don't know if you were dating Laura at the time, and I have a part for you, Laura. And then, so now doing how that kind of came together, and then both deciding, like, I'm going to create my own path. Let's make this film together, starting up Good Rebel, because I'm sure, as you both know, having now done this and you're now on the press circuit promoting it, it's a whole different ball game. Can you tell me what that was like, and getting into pre-pro on this first film that you're going to do together?
Well, he wrote this while we were in writing group. We had a writing group. We had a writing group during COVID. He gathered writers so we'd have a sense of connection. And I was working on another script of mine, a dramedy, and then he and someone else wrote this, Jamie, the star of the film. And I read the script, but I never really thought of myself as Lucy. I just, and then once we were an item, we decided to start Good Rebel and do our own things. He said, well, let's do this film. And he said, well, I see you as Lucy. And then he started describing her and how multidimensional she was, and a little bit more about the character. I was like, oh yeah, I could see myself playing this for sure. So, and then that was the beginning of it. So
yeah,
I love that.
Jamie had always intended to play Jack.
Yeah,
I love that.
We did like a good rehearse for a month, and then everybody kind of really found their characters, and then we went to work.
Yep.
That's awesome. I love that, because I saw, or I think I heard or watched in another interview in prep, that for when Rich and you were talking, that it was you probably weren't going to get a role like this, because as we know, Hollywood studios name star, you're going to be on the the second, third tier, and then they go with the name star, because they're looking at the money, the finances, even though you definitely could have brought it, I'm sure, Laura, as we all know, but they go with the name star. So I think that's
the game. It's it was when I was really auditioning a lot, that was kind of where I was in. It was like, you did a great job, we really liked you, but we've got to go with this person who's a name, or and I wasn't established as a name when I was 21. I came to Hollywood a bit later, and so I was like, yeah, thanks. And they said, well, get good at comedy. And so I did. I did more comedy because, I was like a leading woman without a lead to have in a, any kind of big film or big TV. So
yeah. So it's the crazy realities of the business, right? And, but what I like, though, with this, Rich believes in you. The team believes in you, and you believe in yourself. And so, we create our own opportunities, right?
That's it.
But now, the both of you, you are writing, Rich, you, Laura, acting, but now we're going to produce Culprits. Let's talk about now getting into pre-pro, assembling the squad, the crew, this cast, and what that journey was like.
Cool. We cast, we both used to be in acting class. We met over 24 years ago in Larry Moss's acting class, which was like he's a pretty well-known acting coach, now lives in New York, but was out here for a long time. And I cast, I think it was 9 actors from the class that I knew were really great.
Oh, wonderful.
Because they're just good actors. And I really wanted to just say, we're not casting names. I want great actors for every role. That's it. I don't care about anything else. I actually want to make something worthwhile and artistic and really that has integrity, So that happened pretty quick. Actually, I did a reading here with some of them, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make this film. You're cast. And they're like, what? Okay, cool. So that was on the casting side. And then we had a couple people send in tapes, like the guy who played the deputy, Bobby. He sent in a great audition, and we were like, didn't audition anybody else. It was like he nailed it. He was so good. And then crew wise, I met Sam through a friend of mine who's a DP, and we're pretty low budget, so it was like, hey, we get a crew of 6 or 7 people. That's what we get, and we got to make our best. So each person's going to do like 4 jobs each, and they're going to be great at it. And it was, once that kind of established a really positive, constructive, good vibe as on set for everybody, to really empowered everybody to really be their best. Mm-hmm. It's the most important thing I think you can do to some degree on set as a director, because everybody really cares about what they're doing then, and they're not just showing up because you weren't showing up for a paycheck for this one because it's so low budget, right? So you're showing up because you want to do something worthwhile, and that's everybody from the PA to the cook to everybody, So we really managed to create that, and then we had a really great time, doing it, and shot during the strike. It was 23. It was the summer of 23, and we had to stop for a weekend. We shot the movie in kind of like broken up weekends and over about a 3-month period, actually.
And I think we were one of the first 30 films to get an interim agreement to shoot.
Yeah, from
strike,
SAG.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's, and then we kind of, shot it. Obviously, we're in post for a while and just did everything, every step of the way, right. We took our time with getting the best movie we could and the best thriller we could, and then got into that really cool film festival, Dances with Films, which was a nice surprise, because it was like, it's not, to me, not really a festival movie,
Yeah.
A thriller. So.
And for you, Laura, kind of the same question, that experience of transitioning from, well, you're dual-hatted. So, Rich has the luxury of being behind the camera, right, as producer, director, but you have to be in front of the camera. Also, you're the producer. You have to know and be aware of all of that. What was that experience like in the learning of this?
It was, I got to say, I have to hand it to our head producer, Cosmos Kandarius, because, as a producer, you're handling many things. And it was my first time producing something like this, and when I got on set, I remember one day he just pulled me aside. He said, Laura, when you're on set, you're an actress. And that's it. I'm the producer and I protect you as an actress. You're not a producer. And I was like, and at first I was going, I didn't understand that. But then I go, oh, now I really understand it. So I could fully focus on just being an actress. And he handled a lot of other things, along with our other producers, JC King and Brian Gross. They were also there, but he really led the charge with that and protected me so I could do my job as an actress. And then afterwards, I could deal with the producers' stuff.
After we're done shooting. Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of work, but it's what we love. And I'm curious for the both of you. So having done this experience and now you're rolling it out, how that either made you can we do this again? Is this the first and last film of Good Rebel Pictures? Or did this energize and okay, now I know how not to make this mistake if I made that mistake, and how to push forward with future projects? What is the vibe with you both now?
He's a directing maniac now. It's all he'll do. It's all he thinks about, sleeps, eats, breathes. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. No, we're definitely doing more. We're in the middle of another one. We've got another one on the way with some semi names attached. We're hardcore.
It's bigger thriller.
Full on. Yeah.
We're growing.
We're definitely growing the company, doing what we can, and want to just we're really trying to position ourselves or put ourselves in a position where we don't need, other outside sources to tell us if we can make a movie or not. Right. That's the whole point. You know what I mean? It's
I love that energy.
No, we're going to do it again. And we're going to do it again, and whether that's a $2 million movie or it's a $50,000 movie, we'll just keep going and keep making stuff. Cause I think that's the most important thing is you do learn so much each project, I learned so much from in so many different ways, camera movement and blocking, and just in so many ways on CULPRIT that has really guided me to the next one,
Yeah, so you'll see a dark comedy before our next thriller. And we couldn't resist but to do a dark comedy because we love to laugh. And so you might be into it. We'll let you know when that's
I'm
gonna
gonna hold y'all to that. I generally close out later with like I want to give you your flowers as fellow creators, as filmmakers, and support because that's what we as a community should do. And so again, I want to tell you I love this energy. I always kind of ask that question now because again, we know the Hollywood system and the studio system and the money and how that, but we're artists first, I think, with those of us. And when we then like get behind the camera to start making our own work, we really got to support each other and push it and, lead that need so that way we continue to do what we love. And so I love the passion.
Dances with Films is a really good supporter of that, by the way. I don't know if you've ever had a movie there or ever heard of them or kind of dealt with them, but they are truly independent film supportive. Like they don't allow movies with any names at all in their festival. They don't allow any movies that have distribution or have used a name to raise money. They are truly independent, like really. So they're a really cool festival. So check them out if you're.
Definitely. I'll definitely check them out. I've heard of them, but I'll definitely look a little bit more into that. So back on the film, Culprits. There's a lot of wild stuff that happens in this film. What was it like? So we talked pre-pro. Let's talk about being in production. Was there anything that you looked forward to from your own script and then now directing it for yourself, Rich? And then for you, Laura, in the same vein, you were behind the scenes from the jump off, unlike other projects. You knew what you're doing. You're now producing this, what the story was going to be. Was there anything you were looking forward to when you finally got to set and you were looking to shoot a particular scene or anything like that? If I can go back to you, Rich.
I was really looking forward to really kind of mining the subtext of the material. You know what I mean? And there were a lot of moments while we were shooting where the actors would do a certain way, and I'd be like, hey, that one line, you actually think about this, this, and this, and then they're like, oh, that's good. You know what I mean? Because then what it does, it actually creates mystery and tension and plot. Furthers plot in a very subtle kind of like, wait, what was that about? You know what I mean? Like that guy just lied. What's going on with that? Like that for me was really exciting, is to kind of create this tone of the acting that had a lot of depth and had a lot of like mystery to it, So I really enjoyed. And then the ending was a surprise. We were halfway through, and I came up with a new ending.
Oh, yeah, that was going to be another question. Like, how did anything change from the material? Laura, how about you? Was there anything that you were really excited about when you finally got to roll in?
Yeah, I hadn't experienced Rich as a director other than rehearsing, and he was an actor for many years because we met in acting class. But he's such a actor-friendly director and really knows how to bring the best out in me personally. And I know I saw him working with the other actors. That was such a relief. So I really felt the support and inspiration to really be put my all into each moment, each scene. And I felt the freedom to do that. He allowed for that. And he knew how to push you when he needed to push you. And so that was enjoyable. It was really enjoyable, more than I thought. Now I'm like, I just want to work with you, says my director. So, but it was, and also with the actors that that were in the movie, they were so wonderful to play against because they were so strong. So each actor was very strong in this, and I loved it. The woman who played my mother, we got to just hash it out on screen, and then a lot of it didn't make it, and there were other scenes with like Jamie where we had a whole other storyline going on, but yeah, so it was fun.
Did you have a favorite scene that you were looking forward to shooting? Do you have that?
Well, I like the one with my mom in the backyard where we had our fight. So we had to trim it down, but it just kind of like let us loose.
That was a good one for both of them.
Yeah, we liked that. Never knew where it was going to end. So like it just kind of took on a life of its own. And that's the beauty of acting, really, is kind of the unexpected happening. And I think sometimes an audience really can go along with that. It's like, oh, what, keeps them on their edge. What is going to happen? What's going to happen to this character? How do they react to that other person? So, and I think he did a good job of creating tension with the final edit. So
I dig that. I dig that, and I agree. So in regards to characters, let's talk about your lead star that we're kind of like, is he? This gentleman right here, Jamie Donovan. Can you talk to me about kind of just the story that we follow with Jamie Rich, and how we're always kind of speculating. Laura's character of Lucy is, she's there, but then she's not quite sure sometimes. She comes back, throughout this whole film till the very end. I won't spoil. Can you talk to me about Jamie Donovan and the journey we follow in Culprit?
Yeah, man. So basically he plays, Jack Harris, who comes out of prison after 27 years. He originally went in for the murder of a 9-year-old girl, which was played by Lucy's, was her younger sister. But Lucy's character never really believed he did it. So she helped to basically get him released. And then once he does get released, that you kind of understand they had shared, have a bond as a friendship. But 3 days after he gets released, another 9-year-old girl gets murdered in the exact same way that her sister did 27 years ago. So you're kind of like, oh, they just released a killer, or is he not? Oh no, I don't know. So we kind of play with that kind of central dramatic question the whole movie.
It's up to him to prove his innocence to the whole town.
Yeah, and Jamie, Jamie was really good because he was very sincere, and also we layered in a bunch of moments where you're like, kind of creepy too.
All the way to the very end, and I want to get there, but I don't want to spoil too much about that. But I really liked how his performance, he's taken away. There's different things that are happening, in the film, and he's being questioned. But there's like a moment where there was one guy that takes him away. I think at the very beginning, the first time.
Yeah, the deputy.
Right? And how you convey to make him really show, I'm not the guy, and with what you do with a weapon and just the conversation and all of that. What was that like filming that, and how long did that take to just get that mood right? But like Jamie, shout out to Jamie Donovan, the face, I'm all about, face and movement, we're actors, right? But like he gave great face, just everything in that moment. Like, okay, I believe this guy. Like he went from like, you're not quite sure until like, no, he made that guy believe.
Yeah. I mean, it was very, it was very nuanced. It was very chosen. Like I also would have him do it probably when we shot that scene in particular. I think it was about 4 or 5 in the morning. We've been shooting all night. It was raining, and we were shooting in this property out in Castaic. It was kind of wild, and everybody was dead tired. And I was like, "Gotta do one more. We're close. We're close." But I also would have him do it 4 or 5 different ways, which I like to do from a directing standpoint, because then when you do get in the editing room, you have choice. You got a lot of choice to. Is that line? Do we want to make him sincere and really like? Does the audience want to care about him in that line, or does the audience want to question him in that line? And I think that we really worked pretty hard in the editing to capture that, to kind of capture that mystery and to keep that tension going, But he did a great job. He's very authentic. He's a very good actor. Also was in class with us 24 years ago. So like I've seen him do a lot of good work on stage. I've seen him do for many years. So he did a really good job.
Wonderful. What was it like with you, Laura, playing opposite Jamie and knowing him for so long as well, to like really kind of build this whole story out?
Well, it's funny because I've never been really close with Jamie, which was a good thing for this film. Because I think maybe I made an unconscious choice not to get too friendly with him during the shoot. Like I was friendly, but I didn't get to know him really. I wanted him to be a bit of a mystery and a bit of a question mark, right? Like, who are you? I don't, it's been 27 years. So there was a distance, but there is an affection, of course, because we know people in common. We were in class together. So I think it kind of paralleled for the movie well. I didn't want to know him too well.
Yeah.
I feel
So-
that.
Yeah, it's
That-
kind of a nice place to be, I think. Right?
I'm not a method actor, but
Well, it was a nice place where you were at because it felt unpredictable. And I think to me, it's the most exciting thing you can capture in performance is unpredictability. I mean, really, you know what I mean? Like moment to moment, like, because she would have moments, so many moments that we saw that where she'd look at him kind of like, what is going on? You know? Which and he kind of did the same with her, so it was really great.
Yeah.
They played off each other really well.
yeah. But I always trusted him as an actor, so it was, yeah, I knew he'd be there. We spoke the same language in terms of acting, and so.
I love that. Let me remind everybody again that Culprit arrives on all digital platforms on February 28th. Go check it out. I have Laura Vale and Rich Ronat. Again, I had a lot of fun with this. I want to talk about the ending a little bit, but not spoiling, obviously, because I want people to go see this film when it drops. Certain decisions made. In a lot of ways, the film, I hope you don't take this wrong way, it's a thriller, but it felt like a Lifetime thriller. So I'm like, as a distribution wise, because we think this is studio heads, right? If I can put it out there, who could like show it? I would put this up on Lifetime. But then the very end, there's certain things that are blown out, they're blown away. That
pretty anti-Lifetime.
Put that on Lifetime, unless you edit that out a little bit. I wasn't expecting that ending part there. To do that, and then also just even the further skepticism towards the end.
Yeah.
And some of the themes, the relational themes, I think were pretty dark for Lifetime.
Oh yeah, those got to be
murder of a 9-year-old girl, not on Lifetime. Yeah. But
sometimes I worry that we were too dark, that people would go, oh no. It's
nah, they're used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, what sorry, what was the question?
the choices to one, I want to like filming that certain things, and I'm really happy that she did that, by the way. But shooting that and that blow up there, and to just go ahead and go there, because who wouldn't do that in a real life situation? Like, man,
totally.
This to do that, and then just the further skepticism that we read across Laura's face at the very end.
You know, I just love that dramatic question of like, maybe, you know, everyone likes things to be buttoned up so well, and I just love a movie that doesn't necessarily button it up for you so clean. I think there's something really much more about like life about that, because a lot of things we just don't know in life. You know, we just don't really know the truth in so many different ways. You know what I mean? So I think that there's sort of an existential crisis element to the movie in a way, which I think is cool. I think it's different. I think it's more kind of artistic and has a different voice. But the choice to show what we showed in the end is, to your point. It's shocking because you don't see any trace of that for the whole movie before it.
That's what blew me away.
Yeah,
literally.
And exactly. So when we screened it at dances with films
it was in the Man's Chinese Theater.
At the Man's Chinese Theater on this huge screen, if you could imagine the collective go, like when we actually showed that part, it was awesome. I was like, that's great. Like people were genuinely shocked, because you know how it is with violence. It's like if it gets gratuitous, you get desensitized to it and you don't care. But if you're just much more behind, like kind of keep it below the surface and then kind of let it kind of explode out, it's like, I was not, what? And we did that. I guess I can say we shot it kind of practically and with a little VFX too, kind of both. But
I was wondering if it was a mix of practical and VF.
Yeah, we actually got animal parts for it. We actually got like liver and kidney.
Well, we didn't kill animals.
No, I mean that you could buy from the grocery store, right? And then
Romero used to do back in the day.
Yeah. So we put fake blood on it and it actually worked really well. It was really
don't give away our secrets.
How was it doing that scene for you, Laura, and kind of like the culmination of seeing the thread of this character and all that?
Oh, you know what? You know, it's really interesting that I found this surprising every time. That scene in particular, I would cry every time. It was such a shock for me, and it was like, and I had to run away. So I literally ran. I would run out of the scene, and I kept turning my head, not able to watch it. and I would run. And I was like, why isn't that interesting that I am affected that deeply by it, as, when you're in character, but that was the reaction. It was not like Laura's reaction, but Lucy's reaction. So, it was, I guess I was present. So, and it was upsetting every single time we did the take.
Wow, it really gets your attention watching this film, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that as a fan and as a filmmaker and as creative. But I was saying the skepticism that still goes across the face at the end, because you did it all throughout, but you make us believe, but then the choice to still do it. I'm like, that takes some balls. So I just got to give you props on that, Rich. It takes balls because like you make us go there and then you keep us in and then you separate, but then all right, you did it one last time. And so I just got to give you props on that. I don't know if I would have done that myself, but I got to give it to you because it takes balls.
It was a choice.
It's a choice, and I lean heavily on it.
Let's go. Thank you for your time talking about Culprits. What's the energy now that you're rolling it out, and how can we keep on checking out Good Rebel and supporting you guys, following you, and to just do all we can to support what Good Rebel is doing?
Well, Good Rebel Pictures, we have a website. We're also goodrebelpictures.com. We also on Instagram
we're very active on Instagram,
Facebook. Good Rebel Pictures, and then we'll have this dark comedy done probably July, August is the goal, and then probably gonna hit a film festival route with that. I think initially, it's kind of targeted film festivals, and then hopefully be filming this other thriller in the next 2 to 3 months. Hopefully, we're trying to close up on that, on some stuff like that, and but we're really open, and we're really like anyone out there that's like, hey, I want to get involved in good indie film, and hit us up. Like we want to talk to people like yourself who are making stuff and build a community. Like honestly, like I'd love to hear what you're doing, what you got going on, and because I think we all really, I love that you said we really need to support each other creatively in this indie film community, because there's not a lot of us that actually really, making stuff because it's so hard. And then when you're kind of left to your own devices a lot, you're kind of on your own little island trying to just keep afloat. So I think it really helps to have a cool, good community now that we're such an international world being online. Like you're in DC, we're in Woodland Hills. It's like it's kind of cool. We can have a conversation.
So I love it. And I'm definitely down to support. And I'm going to tell everybody, I'll have the links to Good Rebel Pictures, the Instagrams, will all be in the description below. Cool. So go check them out, go follow, do all the things. And
we need eyes on the film. I'm like, it's up to us to tell everybody.
Yeah, that's something. Like we're our own marketing department too. So we would love anyone to please watch it and review it. It comes out on, I know you'll list all that stuff on the 28th next Friday. So yeah, I think it's definitely entertaining and fun and a cool ride.
I hope you were entertained.
I definitely was entertained. Definitely good. Had me up and down in different feelings all the way through. I had a good time with it. And thank you both. And everybody go follow. The links are going to be in the description. Let's support Culprit and all future Good Rebel projects coming forward from that. You guys are awesome. Please, when those other projects come along, I'd love to have you back again to hype it up, talk about it. It's what we love. I love this. I love that I'm able to do what we do, and always, to support others that are doing what we do. So thank you for creating arts.
Films now?
Was that?
Are you making films now as well? Like, are you doing?
I'm jumping back into it. It kind of slowed down. I've been writing comic books because I found that is another way when you don't have the budget. Let's do it in a graphic novel comic book form, then show them that way. And I was just talking to Thomas Jane like a week ago about that, and that's kind of an avenue he's doing in certain ways. We gotta if you love it, way to work it.
The great way to control your artistry is like to actually do graphic novels or even animation, because I know AI and all, they're doing it where it's much more, you can almost do it on your own to some degree. You know what I mean?
You can.
It's really cool and exciting, it's like get some makes of them, put it out there.
Definitely. Well, thank you both for your time. Again, when the next Good Rebel Pictures project drops, please come back so I can show you love and supports. And any other projects you have doing, because as you both are writers, I saw on IMDb you've got a couple projects coming out soon, Rich, or in production, and you as well, Laura. Let me give you love. Let me show you love, and let's talk about it. That we got this going on. Okay.
Awesome, man.
Thanks so
Appreciate it, buddy. Great to meet you, man. Awesome.
My pleasure, everybody. That's Rich Ronat, as well as Laura Vale. Culprit arrives on all digital platforms on February 28th. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World. All right, guys. Recording, and here we go in a 1, 2, 3.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds Rule the World. Like, I want more Black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nerds Rule.
Love
it. It's your boy Kuya P, Nerds Rule the World. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.